The story of the Silk Road begins over 2,000 years ago during the reign of China's Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE. This vast trade network got its unofficial start when Emperor Wu sent Zhang Qian, a Chinese diplomat, to Central Asia around 138 BCE to establish relations with neighboring peoples. Zhang Qian's travels revealed a complex network of established trade routes, prompting the Chinese to formalize their participation in this global exchange. The Silk Road was not just one path, but a web of interwoven routes that connected ancient China to the Mediterranean world. It derived its name from silk, a prized commodity in ancient times. The Chinese had perfected the art of silk production, closely guarding the secrets of sericulture. Silk became a status symbol in Rome, Persia, and beyond, fueling demand for this luxurious fabric. However, the Silk Road was not solely about commerce. It was a conduit for cultural exchange, bringing together civilizations from the East and West. Early Chinese trade began with bartering silk for Central Asian horses, a vital asset for Chinese military strength. These early interactions laid the groundwork for one of the world's most significant trade networks, which flourished for centuries. The Silk Road spanned over 7,000 kilometers and was divided into multiple routes, each presenting unique challenges. The northern route stretched through the Central Asian steppes, crossing regions like the Gobi Desert and the Pamir Mountains. This path was fraught with harsh terrain, extreme weather conditions, and the constant threat of bandits. The southern route passed through the Iranian Plateau and extended into the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia. This route was equally perilous, with travelers facing treacherous mountain passes and arid deserts like the Dashti Kavir. Despite these challenges, the southern route offered access to vital trade hubs in India, Persia, and the Arabian Peninsula. To ensure survival, merchants relied on a network of caravanserais, roadside inns offering shelter, supplies, and security. These caravanserais became cultural melting pots where traders from diverse backgrounds exchanged stories, languages, and traditions. The routes also relied on key oases like Dunhuang and Kashgar, which served as vital waypoints for replenishing supplies and resting. The Silk Road was a meeting place for civilizations, connecting the Chinese, Persians, Indians, Greeks, Romans, and later, the Byzantines and Islamic caliphates. These interactions extended beyond goods, fostering the exchange of ideas, art, and religion. One of the most profound cultural exchanges was the spread of Buddhism from India to China and Central Asia. Monks traveled alongside traders, establishing monasteries and translating sacred texts. Similarly, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and later Islam also spread along the Silk Road, shaping spiritual practices in distant regions. Artistic styles were another area of cross-pollination. The Greco-Buddhist art of Gandhara, for instance, blended Greek realism with Indian religious iconography, producing iconic depictions of the Buddha. Language and science also flourished. The Silk Road facilitated the transmission of mathematical concepts, astronomy, and medical knowledge. Persian and Arabic scientific texts found their way into Chinese libraries, while Chinese innovations like paper and printing reached the Islamic world and Europe. While silk was the most famous commodity, the Silk Road carried a wide variety of goods. From China, porcelain, tea, paper, and lacquerware. From India, spices, precious stones, ivory, and textiles. From Central Asia, horses, jade, and wool. From the Mediterranean, wine, glassware, olive oil, and metalwork. These goods traveled vast distances, often passing through multiple hands before reaching their final destinations. For instance, Roman glass might make its way to China, while Chinese silk adorned Roman nobility. Spices like cinnamon and pepper transformed European cuisines, while Central Asian horses became a cornerstone of Chinese military power. The trade wasn't limited to luxury items. Everyday goods, agricultural products, and even animals, like camels and peacocks, traveled the Silk Road, enriching the lives of people along the way. The Silk Road owed much of its success to the empires that maintained and protected it. The Han Dynasty in China was instrumental in its establishment, ensuring safe passage along the eastern routes. The Parthian and Sasanian empires controlled key trade hubs in Persia, acting as intermediaries between East and West. The Byzantine Empire and Islamic caliphates expanded the Silk Road's reach into Europe and North Africa. However, the most significant boost came under the Mongol Empire in the 13th century. Genghis Khan's conquests unified much of Asia, creating a period of unprecedented stability and security. This era, often called the Pax Mongolica, saw a golden age for trade and cultural exchange. The decline of the Silk Road began in the 15th century with the rise of maritime trade routes. European explorers like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus sought faster and more direct sea routes to Asia. These developments, coupled with political instability and the fragmentation of empires, led to a gradual decline in Silk Road trade. Despite its decline, the Silk Road left an indelible mark on history. It laid the foundations for globalization, fostering the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultures. Today, it's celebrated as a symbol of human connectivity, with modern initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative seeking to revive its spirit.